Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I am going to be giving my review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. My wife did not watch this with me, so I'll be reviewing it by myself. She did have interest in it, but just didn't watch it with me. I don't think she likes the original. No. You don't like the original, so
Sure don't.
We'll see when I buy this if she does end up liking this one, but anyways, this is, in my opinion, it seems sort of like a direct sequel to the first one, more or less. I mean, that was my take. I got it. They may be going after the second one, but it felt more connected with the first one than anything. So it could be one of those situations where they're erasing, the sequels, the other two sequels. But this basically tells the story of a mother and two kids who inherit, I guess, a farmhouse, you should say. They called him Egon, a dirt farmer, basically. That's what they called him in the movie, that he was a dirt farmer. So, inherit his house after he passes away. They show, this is going to be spoilers, so I'm just going to say it. They show him getting killed in the beginning. And then that's when it jumps to them inheriting the house. They were basically planning on selling it, but they end up getting kicked out of their apartment, so they actually need it to live in now. And on top of that, the house isn't worth anything anyways. The land, the house, none of it's worth anything because Egon is in such debt when he died that they would have to, anything they'd get from the house would have to go toward, I guess, the debt. So they basically end up staying and living in the house. That's where they start finding all of the Ghostbuster, all of their stuff, the vehicle, just everything, all the things they used, the traps, everything, because we find out towards later on in the movie that, he basically, they all went their separate ways, and Egon just kind of grabbed everything and ran because he felt like something bigger was happening and nobody believed him. None of the other Ghostbusters believed him, so he just grabbed everything they had and took off. Which sort of put some bad blood between them, but then, so basically you have them finding everything, trying to figure out everything works. While all this is going on, you have the obvious ghosts appearing here and there, and then you get sort of the big climax at the end when Zool and all them come back. Now I want to touch on a couple things. I know I've heard some complaints about fan service and how this is going to be, they play a lot on the nostalgia factor. This is a Ghostbusters movie. I don't know what people are expecting. You can't have a Ghostbusters movie without having certain items.
Obviously, your main target's going to be 80s and 90s kids anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yes, can you say it was fan service for one certain character? Definitely. Can you say it was fan service for, obviously, the three of them at the end coming back? Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. And, I can't think of his name. Played Winston, but, could you call that fan service? I mean, no, in a way, because they did need the help to defeat Zul again. Um, so, it wasn't like they were just cameoing for no reason. They were there for a reason. Um, so to me, that was more slight fan service, but also prominent to a part of the story, a key part of the story. Um, but everything else, I mean, I didn't feel like it was overly fan serviced. I didn't feel. I felt like everything else was needed. Um, like I said, there's one character. I can't think of her name. The one that played the secretary in the original one. I think she definitely felt fan servicey. Because her role really didn't. I mean, they kind of had her being the one that tells the mom, the property ain't worth nothing because he's in such debt. She's the one that tells her that, which could have been told, I feel like, by anybody. So yeah, I could say that's a little fan service. But to me, everything else just, it felt like it needed to be in there. It didn't feel fan service to me. It felt like it was part of the story. It needed to be part of the story. You can't have a Ghostbusters movie, in my opinion, without it. Um, the ghost, it looks like Slimer. It's not Slimer. I think they call it, what is it, like Munchie or something like that, because it eats metal and stuff. So, I didn't feel the fan. I don't get the fan service hate or the fan service problem that people are having with this. It's a Ghostbusters movie. It's going to have the stuff in it. Get over it or don't watch it. Is the way I see it. It is what it is. Um, I know another complaint people are having was the. I've heard from at least one person talking about the lack of uh, emotion, I guess, some of the characters have. There's a scene where um, the you see it. I think you see it in the trailer where they're sitting on that thing above the mine shaft, and they jump off, and the thing shoots out. You know, some people complain that they didn't act scared enough. That McKenna Grace's character didn't act scared, and didn't show enough emotion. And the way I see it for that with McKenna Grace's character, to me, she came off as being
annoying.
No, she came off as kind of being a character that I took being maybe sort of, I don't know if you'd say Asperger's or autistic, sensory prone, because she states in the movie that when she gets that heightened sense of fear, it does something, it makes her, it intensifies her, and she doesn't show the emotions. She don't process the emotions the same way other people does. There's a scene where
there's some type of sensory issues.
There's a scene where the kids are talking. Her and podcast is talking about uh, the mom going on a date and everything with Paul Rudd's character, and he's like, "Aren't you disgusted, or anything?" And she said, "Yeah, but I don't show my emotions aren't processed basically the same way. She's not physically showing her disgust or whatever, but she feels it inside."
We would know she would have some of those issues.
So I think there was some kind of sensory disorder or something going on with her, because we have a son that's sensory disorder, so there's something going on there with her character that's not really talked about, but it's hinted at with things that she says and the way she acts. As for the other um, teenagers not being afraid, I mean, they're teenagers. You know, it's ghosts. Um, you know, they're probably confused. They're probably not understanding what's going on. You know, they're they weren't around when the Ghostbusters were a thing, so you know, ghosts for them aren't relevant. It's not a real thing, so they're probably not. You know, it's probably not processing for them. Is run away afraid or be scared. I think they were. I think they mixed their emotions between scared and confused and curious. I think they played it well. Where all the teenagers when that scene happened were just like scared, confused, curious, just everything rolled into one. I didn't hate that. I don't need to see them running in fear when that happened. I think what we got was okay. It worked. I understood it. It worked. Um, One of the problems I did have though was the cops in this movie. Um, when when they arrested the kids for reckless, when they were driving through the town, shooting the town up and everything, they got arrested. When the cops, were talking and stuff, they were being complete jerks, basically a-holes. Especially this one white female cop, and the kind of younger female cop I can maybe sort of pass by not knowing like the whole situation from the '84 Ghostbusters movie. But the older cop, the dad to the one girl that's Finn Wolfhard's, I think I say it's Finn Wolfhard. His character's wannabe girlfriend, her dad. You would think he would have some recollection to the Ghostbusters and everything. So for them to act like the 80, the '84 situation never happened was kind of interesting, kind of odd. Is this town so shut off from the world that it never, they didn't realize it happened? I mean, Paul Rudd's character knew, but they act like they had no idea. And um, so, and they just were complete jerks in the movie. And so I didn't really care for the cops in this. The townspeople kind of were the same way. They called, with them calling like Egon a dirt farmer and stuff, they never understood what he was doing. They just found him weird. Um, it's like the whole town was shut off and just never knew of the whole Ghostbusters group ever. And that might be the case. Maybe they were shut off and never heard of it. But it's just kind of odd that they wouldn't had. So that's my only really big complaint with this movie was those two things. Everything else worked for me. You know, like I said, I didn't find anything overly fan servicey about it. I thought all the characters performed very well. Um, I didn't need in depth between Finn and what's her face's character. I didn't need to see their relationship blossom. Um, I didn't need to, you know, didn't. I think the movie gave me what I needed. Um, the ending was really nice as well. Um, you know, the reason the Ghostbusters come back. It's definitely needed. There's a reason. Um, and then the scene that I guess most people are talking about that's could bring a few tears to your eyes. It is a very emotional scene, and I think it's for multiple reasons, and I think it's done very well. I was a little afraid how they would do it, but I think the way they did it works perfectly. Um, so, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of issue with it at all. Just those couple of things. Everything else, the cinematography was real nice as well. It definitely had that, a nice feel to it the way it was shot. Um, I would definitely say check it out. You know, whether you're new to it or you love the original. If you don't love the original, go in with caution because you may not love this one. Um, but just still give it a try, I would say. You know, I hope this doesn't get a sequel only because I think this wraps up the franchise perfectly. Um, the way it ends is just great. It doesn't need to be touched anymore. They just need to let the franchise be what it is now and be done with it. Move on. You know, they both Reitmans now have done their own Ghostbusters movies, so I think it's time to put the Ghostbusters to bed and leave it alone. Because to me, anything after this would just be a cash grab. I feel like, and I feel like that will sort of take away from the movie. I don't think it'll have that same feel to it. Um, so I definitely hope we don't see a sequel. I hope it makes money. Just don't want a sequel. Um, I would definitely give this. I'm torn. I probably would give this. I'm torn between a 4 and a 4.5. So I probably give. But if I had to put one down, because I will on Letterboxd, I'll probably go 4.5 out of 5. Um, you know, definitely could. We'll see how it does with rewatchability. I think this will have rewatchability. I don't see it not. I don't see why it wouldn't. But can't wait to own this when it comes out. Definitely be buying the 4K unless they just make it 4K only. Then we'll see how I do there because uh, I'm not a fan of the 4K only releases. But so hopefully, if they do release this in 4K, it also comes with the Blu-ray. But we'll see. But yeah, definitely say check it out. Give it a watch. Just if you're not a fan of the franchise, go in with caution, and just enjoy it for what it is. It's a Ghostbuster movie. Don't look at everything as fan service. Just it's a Ghostbuster film. You gotta have the stuff in it for it to be a Ghostbuster film, in my opinion. So, you know, if you're listening to reviewers, listen to them, but don't take what they're saying fully to heart. Go in with your mind still open to uh, be okay with the situation, with what you're seeing. So, but that is everything for my review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. So please comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for all our videos, and we'll see you all in the next one.